Hey, Munchie Mafia, we are making meatballs. So, what we're going to start off with is 1 pound of extra lean ground beef, and this is 94% lean. And then we're going to use half of this sweet Italian sausage, and it's a mild sausage. If you don't eat pork, don't put it in there. You can always use chicken sausage if you want. We're going to reserve the rest of it for the actual pasta sauce itself. So let's move that out of the way. And next, we're going to take some of the Gourmet Garden minced garlic paste, and we're going to just squeeze a whole bunch of it in there. About a heaping tablespoon right there. And the Gourmet Gardens Italian herb paste, I'm going to go about a tablespoon of that as well. And then we're going to take some shredded Parmesan cheese. We're only going to put half of this in there, so it's about 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. And then about 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs. We're also going to add 1 egg. And then we're just going to give it a mixy mix. Oh, I forgot salt. We're going to put salt in there. So let's grab some salt. I don't put much else into mine. You could put black pepper in there if you want. You can also put some paprika and dry herbs if you want, and dry spices. But I like to have just a basic, what I call a basic bitch meatball. And I'm just going to get this all folded together so that everything is all thoroughly combined. And if it feels a little wet, just put a little smidge more of the panko breadcrumbs. And this one does feel a little wet, so we're going to add another 1/4 cup. Because you can always add, you can't subtract unless you add more of something else to offset it. So get that mixed together. You don't want to overwork your meatballs, because that's never a good thing. You end up with tough meatballs. Now, if you're looking for gluten-free, you can always use pork panko, or just not put the egg in there and just don't put anything other than just the meat. And there we have that. Now, we're going to go ahead and grab a Silpat lined pan, and we're going to just pinch off about golf ball size. Okay, so golf ball size, and you just roll it around until it's all nice and formed, just like so. Put it on the Silpat. You're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. It's going to take about, depending on your oven, about 12 to 16 minutes. My oven's a little persnickety these days, so it's probably going to be more like 18 minutes on my oven. Okay, now we're going to just keep going until we got them all rolled. All right, so we got all of our meatballs all done, as if by magic. Ta-da! We're going to be baking these off at 400 for about 16 minutes. And let's talk about the meatballs a little bit more for a moment. Now, there's no right or wrong way to make meatballs, other than make sure you don't overwork your meat, for one, And number two, season it appropriately. The best way to determine if your meatballs are seasoned properly is to just take a little pinch of it and stick it in a fry pan and fry it up until it's done, and then give it a taste. The different types of meats that you can definitely use is veal, chicken, turkey, of course, beef and pork. But you can also use other ground meats that are like exotics. Some of the leaner ones, you're going to want to put some pork in it just to give it more of the fat content that you need in order to, have it all bound together nice, and it doesn't turn into this basically the texture of a golf ball. If you were to eat a golf ball, that would be a good analogy right there. So we're going to go into the oven with these. What do you do when tomatoes are out of season, or the tomatoes suck, and or your tomatoes just aren't ripe enough, and you need to make a pasta sauce? The way that I take care of that is I'll just get jarred sauce and I will doctor it all up. And I don't have any favorite brands really. What I can tell you is this is not my favorite brand. So I'm hoping to be able to doctor this up to the point where it won't suck as much. And so what we have is a half pound of ground pork, sweet Italian sausage. We're not going to use all of this onion, but we're going to use a lot of onion, and some smoked garlic cloves, and Italian herb paste, and a partridge in a pear tree. So first off, we start off with a pan that's all nice and heated up. This is my little rondo that I've got. I'm going to pop this Italian sausage in there. We want it to start to develop flavor by getting what's known as Maillard reaction. That's when heat applied to meat caramelizes the meat and it creates the flavor. Now, pork does have a tendency to stick quite a lot to the bottom of the pan, but that's okay because we are going to be deglazing this pan a little bit later. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to this pan, just a smidge more. Don't overdo the olive oil in your sauce pot. Looking up. And the reason why I'm not using a lot of meat in my meat sauce compared to those 2 jars of sauce back there is that there's going to be more meat added to this a little bit later. We got some meatballs in the oven. Okay, next we're going to take a bunch of this onion and we're going to mix it together and take this is already cooked. It's fully smoked. I keep them in the freezer, and they're easier to peel that way, and they take maybe 5 minutes to thaw out after you've taken the clove apart, or the bulb apart, and just grab your cloves. So just mash it with your hands. That's 3 cloves. We're going to go with 4. I'm going to use the rest for something else. Let that garlic have a little bit of time with the heat. As you can see, we got a really good fond built up on the bottom of the pan. That's from the Maillard reaction. All that beautiful bits. Now that's not burnt. A lot of people would, that don't know any better will scrape that out and say, "Oh, well, that's garbage." No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it back into the dish by deglazing the pan with, an alcohol or a liquid of some sort, whatever your preference is. Some people don't cook with alcohol at all for whatever reason. So there's no judgment there. If you have beef stock or chicken stock or vegetable stock, you can definitely do that. I've also seen some people use grape juice. I think it's a little on the sweet side, but that's okay. This we have the choice of several different alcohols. I prefer sherry in mine. And this is just a cheap ass sherry that you get at the grocery store, because I'm just using it for cooking. While wines in general, you always want to make sure that it's a decent drinkable wine. When it comes to sherry, it doesn't really matter. So now we got that all nice, and see how all the brown bits at the bottom of the pan has released and they're back in there. We're going to let this alcohol cook out a little bit before we start adding the rest of our ingredients. Oh, a little bit of mushroom in there, just because. Then we're going to take some Gourmet Garden Italian herb paste. I freaking love this stuff. I'm going to just put that in there. Good healthy dose. I might have to put a little bit more because that Rouse sauce does not have a lot of flavor to it. Other than it's got a little bit of a spice to it, but that's about it. Just going to give it a pinch of paprika and a pinch of salt. And some black pepper. All right. So we're going to get our sauce. Rouse, Classico. Every family has their own favorite jar of sauce. There's nothing wrong with using a jar of sauce. There's no shame in it. So use it. I love to make my own tomato sauces. All right. So our mushrooms are softened. Now, leave a message in the comments. Do you peel your mushrooms? Yes or no? Leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think. All right. Now, we're going to just add one jar. And we're going to add this other jar. We're going to add this other jar. Oh, come on, you. All right. What do you do with all of the sauce that's left in the jar, you say? It's one thing that really annoys the living hell out of me. And what I do is I'll take whatever cooking wine that I've used or stock or whatever. I'll put a pretty good splash of it in there, right? And then I'll just put the cap on it. Shaky, shaky, shake. Shake, shake. There we go. Okay. Now, the other jar, we take it and dump it right on in there. Shaky, shaky, shake. Shaky, shaky, shake. And then just pour it right into the pot with the rest of your stuff. We're going to get a spoon and we're going to give it a tasty taste to see if we need to adjust. And then we're just going to let it ride low and slow. And just needs more salt. And we're just going to let that melt. And we're going to taste it later. Okay. All right. So now we're going to add some meatballs to this sauce. We're going to let those get happy in the sauce and let the flavors commingle, and hopefully they go out on a date and Netflix and chill and everybody's all good, right? All right. So got meatballs. Always temp your meatballs. So we're going to grab a meatball. We're going to stick a thermometer in there. And we got 160. Okay, so we're good. So here's our meatballs. We're just going to drop them in there. Let them relax. They're going to have a little spa day in the tomato. Be gentle with your meatballs. Don't just dump the whole thing in there because you're going to end up getting it splashed all over you. And next thing you know it, you're going to have a dry cleaning bill and ruin your favorite shirt. And the meatballs are going to be upset. They're going to be like, why are you hating on us? Okay, there we go. So that's that. Let it ride for a few hours and then get all your other stuff ready to go. And there you have it. We're going to first start off with our spaghetti. We're going to just tossy in a light bit of sauce. It's going to be a lovely, lovely, lovely dinner. Now, if you wanted to get really fancy, you could just twirly, just like so. Put it right on down there, just like so. Or just slap it right on. It's up to you. A little bit more of that sauce on there. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Right on the top there. And then I'm going to go and get go fish out a couple meatballs. 2 meatballs should do. His and hers meatball. Just like so. Normally you do them in 3s, but that's okay. All right. In there, we have a little tidbit of spaghetti meatballs. All right, Munchie Mafia. Thanks for coming. Have a good night, and don't forget, cook with love, eat with passion.